try it this way, because as you can see right here, it's barely downloading, and then I don't have the thing online, so I'm having to use what's on, like, my thing, I guess. I have to use what's online, I can't use what's not online. Okay, so here is my first slide. It's just the front. Moving on to this next one, it just says what is HPV, and then it goes into detail about what it is, that it's a virus that infects the skin and mucosal cells. It's very common. It's preventable by getting the vaccine, and it's transmitted through direct contact. It causes warts among the skin, give you skin irritation, itching, fever, etc. And it can happen to women and men. And then to show that it's me. And then here's chapter 1 review. It's just showing what kingdom of life it belongs to. And it's a eukaryotic, that there's 200 types of the HPV, but there's only 40 strains of the genital HPV. It's a human pathogen, and strains of HPV have been found in biofilms. And then there's just a picture right there. Moving on to chapter 3, it shows the measurement, which is 55 nanometers in diameter, that the shape is a circular and double-stranded viral genome, and it mainly affects the epithelial cells due to those being on the skin. Chapter 4 and 5 review. This is just a picture just chilling there. HPV genome is about 8,000 base pairs. It has about 13 to 100 genes present. HPV has different stages of life depending on where it is or on the body. Some go through different forms and affect other parts of the body, while others do not due to the medicine that they give. They do create pores for reproduction, and it does contain plasmids. And that's chapter 4 and 5 review. And still me. Okay, and then chapter 6 is just a picture in the background, and then it just goes about how they are considered non-living because they don't have to consume energy to survive, nor do they have to regulate a temperature. Then it goes into that it's a DNA-based virus instead of RNA. Its capsids are 55 to 60 nanometers, composed of 72 star-shaped capsids, and they do not contain an envelope, but it does have viral spikes to infiltrate living cells. Its host range is 18 to 30 in group 6, and its tropism is skin. It has undergone a drift, and it belongs to the Papillomavirida family. And then the steps of HPV replication begins with HIV, fusing with the surface of the host cell, and so on. And still me. And then this is just a chapter 7 review. It's just showing the germicides over here and then germicides right here. And then some examples are alcohol, antiseptics, and chloral compound. To keep it from spreading, people should use protection and ask their partners if they have HPV before acting with them. To keep from spreading it, they should use PPE correctly, and then they should disinfect instruments thoroughly after each patient and use in the medical field. And moving on, or trying to move on. We're going to see. I guess we're gonna sit here. Anyways, chapter 8 is just talking about the cofactors that HPV uses, which is riboflavin and nalocin, and it's just pill bottles to show it. It's not gonna let me move on. I don't understand what's going on. It's kind of frustrating, but it is still me. And then these two right here are my virus and my models. This is the big model, and then that's the interior model, just to show the difference. I don't understand what's going on, but we'll do this. And then slide 9 is to just show like a review of it, which is HPV is a part of the human biome because it is contracted from person to person. It is not a true pathogen, and it can be caused through indirect or direct contact or transmission, which means humans are the only natural reservoir for HPV, which means that's the only ones that can contract HPV, so animals are safe. And It's an endogenous organism, which means it comes from within the cell, and it's just a body picture to show, but on the skin is where you get HPV. And moving on to chapter 9, it's still continued. It's just showing that you need to wear BPE to be protected, and it's just going on and repeating about the medical field and using proper equipment and cleaning and disinfecting. And then this is talking about out in the community, always wearing protection and throwing away contaminated things immediately after use. And then symptoms of HPV are localized, which means it affects parts of the body. And when you are diagnosed with HPV, you don't have to quarantine, but you are contagious. These are the 5 stages of HPV. It has a high incubation period, and then the symptoms begin to develop. Then it begins to show on their skins and more, and then medicine is administered, and then patient recovers. Moving along, this one just shows chapter 10. There's a vaccine against the virus, but it's a moderate health hazard, and it belongs to the biosafety level 2. Most don't have symptoms with it unless it's sore on their skins. The tropism is epithelial or dual tropism. 11 is just showing the first line of defense right here, which is chemical, mechanical, and physical. And in HPV, I feel that mechanical and chemical are the best ways to fight it, because some medicines can treat the warts. And then it just shows the 3 type of second line defenses, and that the interferons are made of cells, which is from vaccines. So if you vaccinate yourself, you're protecting yourself from getting it in the future, which is why vaccines are highly recommended. This is the chapter 13, 14, and 15 review. It just shows that there is a vaccination that usually at age 11 or 12 you get it. This shows that it's an inactivated vaccine. This shows that it can cause cervical cancer, and it can also cause cancer in the back of the throat, on your tongue or your tonsils, and it can also cause vulva cancer. Moving along to chapter 12, it just shows dendritic cells are used for human adaptive immune response, since HPV is on the skin. And then moving to this, it just shows what each one of my things represents on a model. And it's still me, but my styrofoam ball is going to represent the virus itself. The push pins, which you will see in a minute, are going to represent the capsids and the spike proteins. The lifesavers are going to be the capsid proteins. The rope on my interior one is going to be the DNA. The red tape is going to be the viral interior. The white puff bars are going to be the capsid on the interior. Red and yellow puff balls are going to be the capsid protein on the interior. And then these are the pictures that I use to reference. And this is the interior, so you're going to see that that's the DNA, and then that's the interior, then that's the capsid, and that's the capsid protein. And this is what I use for my 3D model, and I use the major capsid proteins and then the vital nucleic acid. So here is my first one. We're going to do interior first. So the rope that's on the inside right there is going to be the DNA of a HPV. I don't know if you can see it right there. And then this piece of tape, this piece of tape, this piece of tape, and this piece of tape all represent the vital interior. And then the yellow and the red represents the capsid protein on the interior. And then the white one, the other one fell off, I'm sorry, but that white one, and then there was one right here, represents the capsid on the interior. Okay. Moving on to my 3D model. This is my 3D model. Things are falling off, but the push pins represent, without the lifesavers, represents the spike proteins. And the styrofoam ball, which is underneath, represents the virus itself. And the lifesavers represent the capsid proteins, while the push pins represents the capsids and the spike proteins. And it's just a model of it to show how it looks, because it's all like that to that. But that's it on my thing, and that's everything that I've learned this semester about my microbe, which was human papillomavirus. Thank you.